What is up guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how to master piece control in Fortnite Chapter 3. This video is going to include a bunch of tips that you can use to get perfect piece control and thus gain a massive advantage in fights. I'll be going over what piece control actually is, along with various methods that you can use to improve it and make your creative skills carry over into your real matches. If this video helps you out, then be sure to drop a like on it and consider subscribing as well if you want to see more content just like this in the future. And don't forget to toss code Teckoh into your Fortnite item shop if you'd like to help out a bit extra. It's completely free for you and it really does help me out a bunch. Thank you so much to everyone who's using it. But with that said, and without further ado, let's get into today's video. So starting off this video, I want to quickly discuss what piece control actually is for those of you who might not be too familiar with the subject. Now, piece control is a pretty simple topic. All piece control really is just controlling the fight by utilizing your build pieces. So basically, the goal with piece control is to build around your opponent and get them stuck, and then you can get a good angle and clean up the fight. If you watch pretty much any pro player, especially legends like Reet, Booga, and Clicks, you'll notice that they're pretty much always going for piece control plays and always trying to catch their opponent off guard by boxing them up and trying to get a quick and easy kill. So in essence, that's what piece control really is, using your build pieces and edits to catch your opponent off guard. So getting right into our practice methods for piece control, and this first map is going to be a classic that I've recommended plenty of times on the channel, and that's Raider464's piece control practice map. This map is pretty much a given if you're trying to improve your piece control. The map has tons of different piece control scenarios, so basically you can just pick a scenario to use, then you can use the move to kill the bot, and then rinse and repeat as long as you'd like. Each scenario has specific instructions on how to do it as well, that way you can make sure that you're using the scenarios correctly. To access those instructions, all you've got to do is shoot at the number right above the picture of the scenario. As you can see on screen, I shoot at the number and it shows all the instructions. By doing these drills over and over again, you can absolutely improve your piece control and learn a ton of really useful moves in the process. Overall, doing the drills in Raiders map is one of the fastest ways to learn the fundamentals of piece control and learn some really solid moves to put into your arsenal. And for those of you who might not be as experienced, you can also feel free to start off with the beginner scenarios on the left hand side and then kind of work your way up, or you can just do all the levels to get some really good variety in. Aside from the regular drill scenarios, another great feature of Raiders map is the piece control tunnels. They're a bit difficult to learn at first and kind of hard to get used to, but these tunnels basically allow you to practice pre-building, aka just building ahead of you, which is a crucial skill for protecting yourself during fights, and it can really help you get familiar with the build placements that are involved in different piece control drills. So throwing in some piece control tunnels during your practice is definitely a good idea when it comes to strengthening your fundamentals. And finally guys, all the scenarios in this map run infinitely, basically meaning that it'll go on forever until you stop. So once you're done doing a scenario, all you have to do is use any emote you have and it'll teleport you right back to the main area where you can pick another. And finally guys, just one last little bonus I wanted to add in. This map also does include the sliding feature, which was added in Chapter 3. So if you're looking to practice sliding while piece controlling, then this map is absolutely perfect for you. If you'd like to use Raiders piece control practice map, I'm going to go ahead and toss the code up on screen right now. With that said guys, hopping into the next practice map for this video, and this one is going to be specifically geared towards more the angles than the peeking side of things. The map I'm talking about here is going to be Slide Jack's no damage piece control map. He technically calls it his movement map, but I call it the no damage piece control map because that's what it really is. That's just my name for it, but basically this map does exactly what that name says. The goal is to run through piece control drills and basically peek on the targets in a way where you can't be shot back. If at any point your character is shootable for the target, then you're going to take a hit of damage and you're going to be sent back to the start of the drill. The overall goal of this map is basically to allow you to practice piece controlling people without over peeking and without taking damage. It definitely is a bit hard to get used to, especially because most of us have bad habits when it comes to peeking properly and piece controlling people without exposing ourselves, but a little bit of practice in this map can help you clean up those issues and improve at piece controlling people safely and effectively. This is easily one of the more difficult maps that I've shown on the channel, but with some practice I think that most people watching this video should be able to get it down. It mostly just comes down to that final bit where you have to actually peek and shoot the target. Going for an optimal angle to avoid being shot is something that pretty much everyone struggles with, but this map can make it a lot easier to learn and understand that. And just like the Raider464 map, this map also does have the sliding mechanics, so you can definitely try to go for some unique plays or peeks while using it if that's something you're trying to work on. So with that said, I'm going to put the code up on screen right now. The next step in mastering piece control, and one that a lot of players tend to miss out on, is learning from pros. When it comes to basically anything you need to improve in Fortnite, whether it's rotation, strategies, or even piece control, watching pro players and seeing how they do it is a pretty consistent way to figure out what to do and how to do it. And what I recommend you guys do specifically is to take some time to watch pro gameplay, whether it's a highlight video, Twitch VOD, or even a live stream. And what you want to do is really just analyze how they use piece control, figure out what technique they use in what situation, figure out how they approach different types of players, and really just watch and learn from the way they approach their piece control overall. By doing this, you'll not only be learning different ways to piece control your opponent, opponents, but also subconsciously learn different scenarios and how they tend to play out from a pro perspective. And it'll really help give you some insight as to how you can improve your own piece control and apply it in different situations. As well as that, when you do learn something from watching a pro, I strongly recommend that you hop into creative, preferably just an empty map, and go and practice the scenario they were actually in and how to perform the technique that they did. Basically, you'll want to recreate the situation that they were in and the builds that they were facing and practice doing the same exact technique that they did. By not only watching pros, but also trying to apply their piece control strategies and technique into your gameplay, you're going to be putting yourself a major step ahead in terms of the learning curve, and you're also going to learn how to handle a ton of different situations in game. So if you're not doing it already, I strongly recommend you take some time to watch pro players and figure out how they handle their piece control. Finally guys, getting into the last section of this video, now that we've gone over some of my top recommended methods to learn and practice piece control, I want to discuss how to actually take those skills and transfer them into the real game. And while there are multiple ways that you can do this, in my opinion, the number one method is through 1v1s. 1v1s are the best environment to transfer your piece control skills into the real game, as they simulate a real game environment, but they also don't have that same pressure that a real game has. As you might know by now, when you learn something in creative and then go straight to doing it in game, usually you end up not being able to do it simply because you're under pressure in real fights and your brain kind of just resorts to the techniques and strategies it's comfortable with. Obviously, when you're in game, you're under pressure and you're worried about getting killed and having to go back to the lobby and respawn and everything. You're much more likely to just do what you're used to and kind of just resort to things rather than try something new. So the way I recommend you guys approach this is to have a few different piece control techniques in mind. Don't go and do 20 different scenarios and then expect to apply them all in a 1v1. Instead, you want to pick 2 or 3 specific techniques you want to work on and keep those in your mind. From there, you can hop into any sort of 1v1. My preferences for this strategy are either build fights or realistic 1v1s. And from there, you can either do matchmaking or just do this with a friend, and you're basically just going to want to play out the 1v1 like normal, but you want to focus specifically on using the techniques that you learned. Whether you win or lose the actual 1v1 doesn't really matter. The main goal here is just to familiarize yourself with the techniques you're trying to learn and to have that real fighting experience with the techniques. Obviously, if you've done a technique 100 times in a 1v1, you're far more likely to actually use it effectively in game compared to doing it in a map a few times then forgetting about it. So overall, this is definitely my top recommendation for transferring your piece control practice into the real game. Simply pick 2 or 3 techniques and hop into a 1v1 with the sole intention of using them. Since it's just for practice, it really doesn't matter if you win or lose the fight. The main goal is to figure out when the technique works and when it doesn't work, and also just to get that experience using it. And then once you hop into a real game and a real fight, you're going to be far more likely to not only use the technique, but to use it effectively and get kills with it. But with all that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on how to master piece control in chapter 3. Hopefully this video helped you out and gave you some useful tips when it comes to improving your piece control. If this video helped you out, then be sure to drop a like on it and consider subscribing as well if you want to see more tips and tricks content just like this in the future. As well as that, if you want to help your boy out a bit extra, then consider using code Teckoh in the Fortnite item shop. It's completely free for you and it really does help me out a ton. And finally guys, be sure to let me know down in the comments what videos you want to see next on the channel. I'm always on the lookout for ideas, and if you do give a solid idea, then there's a good chance that you might see it in a future video. But with all that said, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.